Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the third video in the Revit tutorial series, and if you haven't watched the second and first video, please go back and watch them. The links will be in the description. In the last video, I quickly talked about the properties palette and the project browser. I talked about how to move them around and how to bring them back if you closed them by mistake. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the first 7 bits in this small ribbon in here. Basically, these are properties that you can find in here. Some of them can be also found in the properties palette. Let's get started. Basically, everything in this small ribbon is view specific. I will be explaining what this means by the end of the video. But let me show you for now what these are. The first thing is called the scale. It basically shows the scale compared to real life. So if you actually choose a small number for the scale, you can see the elevations they disappeared, but they're not actually gone. They're just very small, very, very small. You can't actually see them. If you choose a big number for the scale, you can see the elevations are really big. Let's choose a bit of a smaller number. They're really, really big. And this is the default scale. It's 1 to 100. And this is the scale that Revit uses whenever you open a new project. The second one is called the level of details. This usually applies to stuff that has so many details. So I chose these walls because they have so many details, as you will see in a second. Right now, the level of details is set to coarse, which is the worst level of details. You can also change it from the properties palette. In here, it says detail view. You can change it by either clicking here or by clicking on the properties palette. Let's set that to be medium. And now you can see different components of this wall. If we set it to fine, you won't actually spot that much of different stuff, but this is because it doesn't have small complex details. This only works if something has small and complex details, but you can set it with whatever makes you happy. I'm gonna set that back to coarse. The third thing in here is called the visual styles, and this basically can show you how you wanna see your project. So right now it's all in black and white, as you can see. If you click that, change it to shaded, you can see that it has a bit of color now. Change that to, let's put the detail level to fine so that we can see all the different components. As you can see, this is the bricks, this is the insulation, the gypsum wall board, and etc. If you change that to consistent colors, it's almost the same thing, but just a bit darker. If you change it to realistic, it shows how it's gonna look closest to real life. And as you can see them with so much more details now. If you set the level of detail back to coarse, you will just see this. This is because you don't have that much detail, so you can't see all the different components. If you set it to medium, it's similar to fine, so it's gonna also show the different components. Let's set that back to coarse and put that back to hidden line. I will be explaining Wireframe later by the end of the video. This is called the sun path, and you can use this along with this to help show the shadows in the project. Right now, this is called the shadows. Basically, you can turn on or off the shadows. Right now it's off. By default, it's off as well. If we turn them on, you can see the shadows are right there. So here are some shadows, but you can also, if you don't like them, you can also change how they look like by putting on the sun bath. And as you can see, you can now move the sun, and they're changing direction. You can put that in the middle if you wanted, and very small shadows. If you want the shadows to be longer or shorter, you have to select this sun bath and then select the sun bath and then click on the dots and move them. As you can see, the shadows are now a bit longer. if you want to make them shorter, make that close, and there are barely any shadows, but there are shadows. So yeah, and when you move this, the date of the year changes. So this is March 5. If I move it now, it's August 12th. To change the time of the day, you move the sun. So this is 12 p.m. now, and if you change it, it's now actually 2:15 p.m. And let's turn those off now. Next is the crop region and crop view. These are also very related, and you will probably have to use them both together. So let's start with the crop view, or crop region actually. So this is the region of cropping. You can click on it, select it, and move it with what makes you happy. And right now nothing is happening, and this is because I turned off the crop view. If I actually click that, everything outside this region is gonna disappear. And if I resize that now to, as you can see, some parts of the wall now disappeared. If I was to turn that, to hide that, you can see it's off now. You can also change that as like far as you want, and the elevations are back now, or you can put that like this and then hide by clicking this, so it doesn't affect anything now. And that's it. Now let's go into 3D view just to demonstrate what a wireframe is. This is, to go into a 3D view, you click on this building icon. There isn't any shortcut for it, unfortunately, or you can go to view, tap, and then where it says create, you can click on this house icon and go into 3D view. Let's now click on wireframe. It shows the individual lines rather than the solid walls. It shows every individual line. If we set the level to coarse, okay, nothing changes. That's fine. You can see more details in here, and yeah, that's it. But if we change the scale in here to, let's make that 1 to 500 and go back to level 1, it doesn't become 1 to 500, and this is what is meant by view specific. So it only works in the view that you're on. It works in the 3D view if you're on a 3D view, and it works on a level view if you're on a level view. So if we change that 1 to 200, as you can see, elevations got bigger, and in here it stays the same. You can change that back to the original one, and this doesn't change back, it stays the same. And it applies for everything on this ribbon. So you can turn on the shadows in here without actually turning the shadows on in here. Let's set that back to hidden line. Without actually turning on the shadows, or you can turn it in here and see the shadows in 3D without actually turning them, and as you can see, it doesn't turn them off. And this is what is meant by view specific. That is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope it was helpful. See you in the next video.